Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Good morning, viewers. Welcome back to my new series of Soch Vichar from this morning. I hope you all are well. ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਲੈ ਲੈਂਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵਿਊਅਰਸ ਦੇ ਫੋਨ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਸੀਰੀਜ਼ ਜਾਂ ਸ਼ੋਜ਼ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹਾਂ the whole idea is to raise some awareness amongst our community and to let them know what is available out there. Today I have a very special guest in studio with me. Every girl, every boy wants their special day when they get married to be very special in current climate. आजकल की जिद्दां ਵਿਆਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੀਜ਼ਨ ਚੱਲ ਵੀ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਥੋੜਾ ਠੰਡਾ ਵੀ ਪੈ ਗਿਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵਿਆਹ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹ ਥੋੜੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਸੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅੱਜਕੱਲ ਦੇ ਵਿਆਹ ਹੈ ਅੱਜਕੱਲ ਦੇ ਵਿਆਹ ਕੁਝ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਫਲੈਸ਼ੀ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਕੁਝ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲਾਈਮਲਾਈਟ 'ਚ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਨ ਪੈਰੈਂਟਸ ਆਰ ਵਿਲਿੰਗ ਟੂ ਸਪੈਂਡ kids do want their special day to be very special. Today I have a very special guest with me, my good friend Gurj Bansal. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa,
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
How are you, Gurj, this morning?
Okay, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Problem.
Gurj is by profession is an event manager. She launched her book on traditions, Asian traditions, especially covering marriages. Key traditions follow karne chahide hain, and it's a very successful book. Inna di jehdi book hegi hai ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ Midlands Wedding Awards Association ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੀ recognize ਕੀਤੀ. She's been shortlisted for the awards. So Gurj, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I was born in Coventry. I have two children, two daughters, 15 and 9. And obviously I've been running my business for the last like 15 years. And I've kind of like got more into the wedding side of it in terms of like the decorations, all the planning side from like start to finish, and I do that kind of like full time now. And
you said you got into the industry 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think so 15 years ago this industry existed, people were aware about event management and
no,
they were willing to spend?
No, I mean I got married 18 years ago and it was totally different then. It was what mummy, daddy and grandmas actually said, and that's how we had to do it. This is the venue you're going to get married in. So, this is it. There was no decorations or anything like that. There was obviously, wedding cakes, DJs, but nothing flamboyant. So from then to now, obviously the weddings are a lot more different.
That was my next question going to be. How would you differentiate from the time when you got married to where we are now?
I think well, from my personal experience, we didn't have much choice in terms of what we wanted to do. So I think the only choice we probably had is like what colour outfit we're going to wear and what it's going to look like. Everything else is all traditions. We've got to do it this way. We've got to do it this way. You've got to have your manyo on the Thursday. Nowadays, some people don't even do it, or they just do it on the day. They don't follow those traditions and formalities. So a lot has changed.
And what sparked you to get into event management in those times?
Basically, I used to run a printing business, and then obviously took over a existing kind of wedding going concern business, and they used to specialise in wedding cards.
Right.
So it kind of sparked off from that. So people used to ask me, "Oh, do you know any decoration companies, etc.?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, there's so and so down the road." And then I thought it can't be that hard to put a chair cover on, or a sash. So I basically started doing it on just on a small scale. And then I sort of like did my first planning. And it was hard because I didn't really know if I was doing the right thing. But I thought, well, it can't be that hard. Everyone else seems to kind of do it, and you just go with the flow. As long as you've got an itinerary, you've got a plan of action of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, there's no, way of failing.
In terms of decor, decorations, putting everything into, how did you manage that in those times? It might be hard.
It was hard, but I think because of the location where we were in terms of the showroom, a lot of people already knew that the shop existed there, but obviously under new management. So, and then obviously you got the social media started, and you got Facebook, got Instagram, etc. So it was all creating awareness.
Yes.
So that's had a big, massive impact, obviously, in the world, because it's another way of communication. Then you've got websites, you've got Google. So there's from when we were 18 years ago. It was just literally, you ring and find out which supplier you're going to have for your food, etc. Now it's just Google or Facebook or Instagram,
so
and then
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ
you
ਕਹਿਣਾ
can
ਚਾਹੋਗੇ
find.
in a way ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ social media ਉਹਨੇ huge impact ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ industry ਨੂੰ boost
definitely.
ਕੀਤਾ
I think the last 10 years, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Massively. Yeah.
And in regards to your kind of a book traditions, this is Good's book,
This is the pocket guide.
pocket guide for every person who's getting married, to let them know about what the traditions are in Punjabi culture.
Yeah.
है ना? And it's available on all the major outlets.
It's on the website, so you can actually buy it on the website as well.
So please tell me a little bit about this book now.
The book, okay, I wrote this book. It took me a couple of years to write it. What inspired me to write the book was people used to come to my shop and they used to ask me questions like, what is a saijati? What do we do when, my daughter or son is getting engaged? What are the traditions or, the formalities that we have to do? And I used to get asked a lot of questions, and I just thought there's obviously a gap in the market here whereby people need to have an understanding about their culture and their traditions. Right. So that's why I wrote the book, and I thought I'll write it in the simplest, basic way that people can actually understand the book. So I started by obviously recognising the key facts of, how, when a person, when the bride and groom obviously, get engaged, and then what processes and ceremonies actually follow right up to the wedding day.
You mentioned that there's a gap in the market, and what are the contributory factors for
I think as in time, like a lot of people, their generations have passed on, basically.
Yes.
So the new kind of generation, I'm talking 20 years sort of gap. There's not a lot of awareness,
yes.
that, we have to do it like this or we have to do it like that. And a lot of people don't like helping anymore. Yes. They don't want to tell you.
No, because it's the work commitments.
Yeah, everyone's busy. Even bride and grooms are busier nowadays.
Yes, yes.
They leave it to their parents. I see it all the time when they come to the shop. It's like mum and dad will come into the shop to choose a card. They've chosen this. They've chosen things like what's going to happen on the ladies' sangeet, etc. The kids are away at university or they're away working. They've given their tasks to their parents to do, and their only input is what they're going to wear, and they're going to turn up on the wedding. Do
you think so? One of the reason behind this is if I talk about marriages 15, 20 years ago, we were financially not that much well off. Even if we were,
they didn't
a lot
really
was
spend.
not. They didn't want it to spend, and now people are willing to spend.
Oh God, yeah.
And nobody, in those times, females used to get together and they used to put everything together, but not anymore.
Not really, not anymore, because I found, because obviously I do the event, the wedding planning as well. So sometimes I will, I have a client who wants the whole thing done from for the whole wedding week.
Yeah.
So they want me to plan everything for them. And I find that when I go to the house to do, their decoration like the week before, they haven't, where we had that everybody used to come, a week before, and, they used to, sing while they're cooking and all that kind, you don't get that anymore. People are just so busy in their lives. They've bought the gogle or they've bought the sakrapare and everything, and they haven't actually made them like they used to do.
Yes.
You've got some families that still do that, but a majority of them, they just buy them, pack them in the bags, and then they just give them out. So a lot's changed.
Would you like to share some of the humorous experience you've had in the industry?
What can I say? I mean, I've seen, things go wrong, where you know, the ingredients have gone wrong while people have been cooking, and it's just hilarious. And it's like people shouting, saying, well, you should have done it this way, you should have done it this way. And then people are like, well, you never told me to, you know. So it kind of like gets into a bit of an argument. So it's quite, you know, and you know, you've got the grandma sitting in the corner saying, "Idda karna si, main tenu idda kya si karna," you know, the Asian. And everyone's just like, stop, you know, I'll just do it my way. You know, so everybody still wants their little bit of input, you know, but I just think that people have kind of like moved on and they're a bit more like, we're going to do it this way. But they still need to keep some form of tradition. Otherwise, our children, the next generation, they're not going to know. You know, I've written this book. This book's not going to change. You know, so my children, my children will benefit from this. Yes. You know, my children are going to benefit from this. You know.
And what is the response? What's the response?
We've actually had a very good response. We've had some very good testimonials. The books, we've sold some books in the USA, Italy as well. So it's kind of like going. I went to Dubai last year.
Right.
And I actually went to see Mr. Kandari at the Gurdwara.
Yes.
And we took the book with us, and we obviously...
I am aware about that.
Yes, I know you guys all organised it for me. So that was a really good experience for me, very good experience. So it's about creating awareness in different countries as well.
Right.
And then once that awareness is created and people get to see exactly what it is, you know, they will buy the book, and it's handy for them, and it's knowledgeable. You know, and it tells you exactly what you need to do.
You know, the kind of a community we are. Do you think so? Our community is receptive of these ideas in current climate?
To be honest, a lot of people don't want to follow it. You know, does that make sense? They don't really want to.
And why is that?
Because they haven't got the time for it. Because they just think, why do we need to do this? You know, why do we need to... For example, Jura ceremony. It's an auspicious occasion. Yeah, it's what, you know, a girl wants. You know, on the way, you know, her Jura, her mum may put the Jura on, and the glire, and it's a very personal, emotional, you know, experience to go through. You know, and then I've seen brides, they've just taken it off just after the ceremony.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, you know, to get, and then, you know, you see all these video shoots on YouTube, they're putting it all back on again, you know, when they're getting ready. And it's like, what was the purpose of that? On honeymoon, they've taken it off. What is the point of having the chura on? And I just find that those kind of traditions.
मैं अपने viewers को भी ये question करना चाहूँगी कि जिद्दां मेरे guest कह रहे ने गुरज जी कि जिद्दां चूड़ा ceremony हुंदी है जो traditions हैगे वो properly follow नहीं हो पा रहे उदा की reason है उदे पिछे कुछ हद तक साडा भी हाथ है because we are allowing them and we are not teaching our kids what our traditions are. If you have any comments, if you have any thoughts, please you can join us live. Lines are open now. What do you think, Gurj, the main reason behind this is why girls are so kind of, do you think so? Because current women is so independent.
They're independent. They're also very busy in their careers. Yeah. So you've got your women that are very career-minded, very independent, and they don't really have the time to follow these traditions. And then you also have your other women whereby they want it, you know, they want to do it, they want to follow the customs, they want to do the tradition, so they do it, you know, they actually do it step by step. Everybody's individual, everyone's different, you know, and I just feel that if we had a little bit of tradition still in us, you know, your wedding is so much more nicer as well, and you get the full experience of it as well. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but I just find that I've
majority?
been in the
I'd say
I'd say 50%. I'd say because it all changes. Like now, you know, from 10 years ago, did anybody go to have a destination wedding? No. Now it's all about we want a destination wedding. We want a beach wedding, and 5 of my clients this year, you know, they've actually gone abroad and they've actually had a destination wedding.
And what are your thoughts on destination weddings? Do you think
I think it's a very good idea. It's different because everybody wants something different, and numbers are decreasing at weddings nowadays as well. So whereby before everybody used to call the second, third, and fourth cousins, now it's a bit more close family and friends. So weddings are getting smaller. So people just think now, right, we can take that step further and we can go abroad and take about 100, 150 people with us and have a wedding.
On destination weddings, but I have a difference of opinion here, because Indian weddings are getting fatter and fatter, and
they're getting fatter, and they want to portray that when they go abroad. So they have these lavish beach weddings.
Isn't it?
And there's lots of them, lots. And I think it's the way forward.
And do you think so sometimes जिद्दां कि parents the financial constraints we are in, sometimes they are not in the position to spend that much?
But then you also have to remember, from when we were growing up, we weren't really we weren't really pushed enough, I think, by community or families to actually go away to university and have a career in a proper profession. But nowadays, it's changed. Everyone goes to university. Everyone, wants to be either a dentist or something medics or cosmetics. So in terms of like financial side of it, a lot of people, like the bride and groom, will jointly pay, and then the parents will pay their contribution in terms of, some of it. So I think a whole contribution, because obviously wages are higher and jobs are better, etc. So I think financially, people are actually,
but there's it. Other side to it, जिथे 4-5 कुड़ियां जिहदे घर.
Yeah.
ठीक है. हर कुड़ी दा अपना dream होंदा है, they want to get married. As an event management company, would you say that you can do low budgeted marriages?
Yes, definitely.
You can please the middle class?
Of course you can, definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, there are so many venues out there that, obviously cater. You've got the same facilities, they just look lavish, yeah? And obviously, I've got 4 sisters as well, so there's 5 of us. And then we actually knew financially how hard it would be for my dad to actually pay for 5 weddings.
Yes.
So, we actually went to work and we saved and we actually contributed,
well done.
we actually contributed to our weddings, all of us, Obviously my dad paid for like the venue and the gold and the land, but everything else, like, what we took with us, the Daj, etc. and other things, we just paid for it and we just carried on collecting and just keeping it aside, and that's how it was done.
And how did you feel about that?
Fine, absolutely fine. I think there's nothing wrong with it. If your parents have raised you,
yes.
You shouldn't have to be obliged to do that. You should do that anyway.
Yes.
So I think it's very, very important. I have a lot of clients that are coming in and saying, mum and dad are paying for this and I don't want to pay for it and X, Y, Z. And then I just say to them, look, as we were
I remember
growing
our
up,
times. I don't think so. We've contributed anything.
You didn't?
No, because
Oh, dear.
in India, India, the mindset is completely different.
Totally different.
Because the kind of upbringing we've had, parents paid for everything, and we were not even working when we got married. And now, when I look back or think about those times, like, I think I'm very privileged and blessed that, like, my parents did so much for me.
All parents do, everybody.
Yes,
but I think,
and then I think, if anything, we do say that, in a way that culturally, Asian parents holds a lot of responsibility and gives a lot. What do you think?
I do agree with you. From the day the daughter's born, they start thinking. Yeah, I mean, obviously I've got 2 daughters, and I'm thinking like 10 years ahead, thinking, I need to get my daughters married.
Yes.
And obviously, I'd like to follow all our traditions and culture and custom and everything like that. And I want to be a proud mum as well at the end of the day.
And it's just. When you follow those traditions and customs, it's just sense of belongingness to your own religion, culture, where you come from.
And I think it's really important that children nowadays need to initialize that, because it's kind of forgotten.
Yes.
And that's why I'm writing another traditions number 2. It's basically about the ceremonies, the religious functions we actually have within our Sikh community.
Right.
So just things like, people will come to the shop and say, oh, we're having a part at the Gurdwara. Okay, what part are you having? We don't know. Is it a Sahaj part? Is it a Khan part? Is it a Sukhmani Sahib part? What is it they're like, oh, we don't know. So why are you having a part when you don't know? So then I'm like, can you go back to the Gurdwara and find out, or find out from your mother-in-law or father-in-law, etc. Then you get a phone call back and say, oh, it's a Sage part. Okay, what time is it? Oh, you know, things like that. So people are doing functions at the temple, but ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ what it is. They don't know. So I'm working on that at the moment. So just all our function basically, Basaki, Lori, all the functions that we have, the religion, and at the back of the book will be a funeral guide as well, because I think that's very important. मैं अपने viewers को एक question
करना चाहूँगी. It kind of hit me when Gurj mentioned कि पाठ ਹੁੰਦਾ है या कोई traditions follow करीदे हैं साडे बच्चे, they are not aware, and which is the truth, and it's kind of a, it happens. And किहदी responsibility है अपने बच्चों ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਾਉਣਾ, अपने traditions ਬਾਰੇ ਦੱਸਣਾ. ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਟ੍ਰੈਡੀਸ਼ਨਸ ਨੂੰ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਮਾਡਰਨ ਸੋਸਾਇਟੀ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਰਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਲਚਰਲੀ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੂਵ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪਰ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਆਫ ਆਰ ਲਾਈਫ ਸਟਾਈਲਸ, ਕਮਿਟਮੈਂਟਸ, ਵਿਊਅਰਸ ਕੀ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੈਕ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਲਚਰਲ ਨੌਲੇਜ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਿਰਸੇ 'ਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੈਰੈਂਟਸ ਤੋਂ, ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇ ਪਾ ਰਹੇ? Gurj.
I think we as parents, we always tell our kids this is why we do it, and this is how we do it as well. Now, you can't force anything upon children nowadays. It's a totally different culture, totally
Absolutely,
different upbringing. But all you can do is you can obviously just carry on explaining to them this is how we do it, and this is why we do it, and this is why it's so important, because Gajake, when you get married, what are you going to explain to your children? Who are you? What are you? Does that make sense? I mean, we have a lot of mixed marriages as well, which obviously they've been going on for years and years as well. But then obviously when the child's, born, it's like, which religion do they follow? How do they migrate?
Yes.
So, it's all the upbringing, and obviously it's the parents' responsibility to tell their children, this is our culture, and this is, how, we'd like you to carry on following it.
Jidda ki you run an event management company, and obviously you deal with marriages as well as the corporate functions. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ interfaith marriages and they're on the rise now?
Definitely. I remember the first time I actually did a mixed marriage card. I was a bit like, oh my God. And it was funny because I knew the person as well. I was just like, oh, okay. And I was like, this is not right, this is not right, you shouldn't, But then I just thought to myself, I've got to keep an open mind.
Yes.
You've got to keep an open mind, and it's happening, it is on the rise. Obviously we want to educate our children to, stay within our culture, get married within our culture, because like I said, as you grow older and you have children, well, they're going to grow older, have children.
Yes.
So it's difficult, but they're definitely on the high and the rise, yeah. Like divorce rates are on a high.
Yes.
You've got interfaith on a high. So everything, I think it's because people are lacking the responsibility, the respect, the trust, So everything, really. It's a totally different world from when we got married, totally.
Gurj, thank you so much for joining me this morning. The time has gone so
already?
quick. Oh my God. Would you like to say something short and sweet to my guests?
I just want to thank everybody for listening to my show today. If anyone's got any questions, you can actually go on to our website, and you can actually message me as well. If you want to buy the book, Traditions, it's www.sikhpunjabitraditions.com. You can actually buy it online, and we'll post it out to you. And thank you very much.
You're welcome, my pleasure. Thank you so much, viewers, for joining me this morning, and I will come back with different guests and different show next week. Wish you all a very nice weekend and the week ahead. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.